All right, ladies. So here we are, another snowvid. No, actually, we're not. This isn't snowvid. This is more like another iced in February winter day. Hopefully, this is not going to be anything like it was this February last year. But since we are not set up in the studio here in Grapevine, we're just going to go ahead and do tea time with the Day Sisters live. Yay, on Zoom. And so we have Cynthia Day and
Maria Day.
And we have our beautiful social media marketing creative director genius, Miss Jessica Bell.
Jessica Day too, just throw right in there.
You're Jessica Day. We're the Day Sisters.
For the day.
The Day Clan. So yeah, you know, we definitely wanted to continue, you know, just sharing and have an opportunity to, you know, share who we are. You know, today, I think we're going to go forward with what we are looking forward to in 2022. So I know that we've got a lot of exciting things that we've got in the works. I know Miss Maria has a lot of exciting things. I know Miss Jessica has got some projects that she's been working on that I know are going to come into fruition more so in 2022 as well. So Jess, you take it away, sister. Where should we even start?
Oh my gosh. Well, I will tell you about some of my projects that I'm really excited about. You know, I've done the Social Holics for, I actually started it in 2020 and it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. And I'm actually opening a second business with a business partner called Studios Anywhere, and it is kind of in line with the marketing digital agency side of things. It's video production, video production, just kind of like what we're doing right now, and so it all kind of feeds in together. So that's a venture I am really excited about. There's so many different applications, trying to make people, you know, lives a little bit easier. So that's something. And then also I have a fun exhibit that I'm working on as well. That's kind of background in my history. So that's my passion project. It's called Reckoning, and I'm working with a friend, a photographer, and it's about sexual assault survivors. So we are doing a big exhibit on that and going to raise some money for some charities. So it's going to be really amazing.
That is awesome. So how can we, you know, support you in these endeavors?
You know, you guys are doing a great job just having me on. So thank you for just helping me to spread awareness about both projects. So for the Reckoning, which is the exhibit that I'm working on right now, we are actually trying to find subjects for Derek to photograph. And it's always a very a tricky thing. You know, a lot of women are not comfortable sharing their stories, especially publicly. And that's kind of the point of the exhibit. It's not just sexual assault survivors, it's also women that have not told their story before, and shedding light on why they chose not to come forward and doing it anonymously because, you know, they might feel comfortable doing that. But there's a lot of, you know, stuff in the media, and there's a lot of voices talking about, you know, why didn't this person come forward, you know, 20 years ago when this happened? And, you know, we want to kind of those people voices and kind of tell their side of the story of like, this is why I couldn't, this is, you know, what was happening in my life that it wasn't appropriate for me. So it's a really important story to tell. And I'm really, this was Derek's idea 100%. So I'm so thankful that he reached out to ask me to help him produce that and, you know, get a show going. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So another man wanted to bring awareness to this very important subject and provide a safe place for women to have a voice.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, and he has worked in the beauty industry as a photographer for a long time, so he's very close to it. And I think his kind of impetus for all of this was that organically tell their stories to him because he's just a great guy. He's very open and, you know, very caring. And so they felt like he was a safe person to tell their story to. And then the man, it was shocking to him to realize how common it was, right? And so that was kind of his, you know, motivating factor of like, I hear this all the time. Other people need to hear it as well.
Wow, that is amazing. Well,
Yeah.
thank him for us. I mean, you know, we'll have to do, you know, something to where we can like collaborate, you know, with you guys on this. I mean, it's such a huge deal.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Yeah, and you know, if anybody is interested in being part of this project, feel free. I'm sure my contact information will be in the details. So just feel free to reach out to me because we are looking for people to be involved and just really help us. I mean, even if you're not involved directly, but if it's something that moves you to help spread awareness or, you know, anything, we need people to just get in. We're still working on the project. So it's really exciting and it's really important.
Yeah,
When,
I definitely think it is.
when do you project your first event will be for this? Like let's say a volunteer or whatever type of event.
So right now we're still nailing down the dates for the events. We're trying to find that so important space. So we're looking at June right now as far as a date, but if anybody is wanting to help volunteer right now, just whatever skill set you have, we can put it to use. So, you know, if you have a platform or a skill set, or you just want to be involved, then just reach out. I'm sure I can figure out some way to put you to work.
Are there remote opportunities for people?
Yeah, absolutely. So Derek is also Dallas based, but he is in the country all the time. He travels a lot with his job. So anywhere you are, if you want to be involved, you can help us head up the campaign and just raising awareness. So if you want to be involved remotely, it doesn't have to be in person. Right now, we're not even to the event portion. The main event portion of this will be in June. So we will need volunteers for that as well in June. But right now, we're just doing kind of the behind the scenes, all of the, you know, legwork for it right now.
That sounds
Awesome.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Maria, what projects and, you know, what exciting things do you have going on right now that you can bring awareness to?
Well, it's just, I'm excited that my real estate business is growing, that it's getting some traction and everything on the commercial side. I can't, just for confidentiality purposes, I can't really like say too much, but I will say like it's getting some bigger listings and developments, working on some really exciting developments, a few, and of course those are like long term, and then just being able to help more smaller business owners find spaces as well. And it's been it's been a really cool challenge with the different business models that each individual has, and what stage of their business they're in to fit their real estate needs. It's been really neat to discover all the different avenues one can go and all the plethora of creative financing and solutions that there are, and learning different ways of how one would like negotiate a deal structure. You know, it's been really exciting being able to be amongst master commercial, you know what I mean, masters in the field. So it's been very rewarding in that way. Now regarding dance and everything, still doing some performances with with one of the artists that I'm working with, a vocal artist. She got some pretty exciting things coming up as far as like teaching and everything. Everything's going great in that area. I'm just glad I could still do the splits, girl.
I know, right? Because I sure can't.
I've never been able to.
Boom and a crack and a ow ow, you know. But
And a wow wow.
And a wow wow. It's all good. It's all good. But
Can
I'm
you
just
share
really,
the name of your artist that you're working with?
yeah, her name is Shabs. You know, she's great. Like her check her out on Spotify, on YouTube, SHAB. She's really big in the UK and the Middle East or whatever, but you know, she's definitely making her mark here in the States, and you know, she's been nominated for she's a Grammy nominated artist, so I'm pretty excited about that. And her stuff is hot. She would coin her music as like a global pop. That's how she would coin her style and everything. And she's such a loving person. She has like tons of interviews on the web and whatnot. So she's been on radio and TV and all kinds of stuff. So, but she's great. She's great. I think she's a great representation for more mature ladies and moms. She's a mom, like a mature, you know, she's a mature lady. And I think she is showing that you can have it and do it no matter, it's not too late, you know.
Oh, I love that.
In the 30s?
She's in her 40s.
Wow. Okay, so she's in my club. Okay.
But she is spicy. She is hot. Her sound is hot. And she looks phenomenal. And it's not just her looks alone. It's just, it really is her heart and what her music is about. It's about just basically loving people and uplifting people and overcoming all your adversity. She has quite the story. She's like an Iranian refugee, and just the stuff that she's had to overcome from a war zone type of situation and coming to the States. Like she has a story, guys. So I'm really, really excited about her. But as far as I'm concerned, for more, you know, I'm just excited about how things are unfolding. And yeah.
How did you get involved with her?
With Shab? Because I'm a stage presence coach, and I coach vocal artists on how to be more captivating on stage, so to speak, or maybe turn them into baby Beyoncés, you know. But you know, just teaching them just to be comfortable in their bodies and to really discover their movement with their sound while they're discovering their sound in the process. So, or some people are like, you know what, I don't want to be pop anymore, I want to go to country. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go country, so let's discover what this means. So it's been cool. It's a challenge, especially when you're, just when people are in flex, you just have to go with them. And excuse me, sorry, you just have to go and flex and be flexible and put with a smile on your face, and it's always a good challenge.
One thing that I've always loved about you, and I truly believe that, this is one of your many superpowers, but it's, your creativity. Your level of creativity is absolutely ridiculous, off the charts. Like, that is something that God gave you. You know what I mean? Like, that was truly a superpower. That was something that you were meant to come onto this earth and impact the people with. Like, you are meant to creatively help to evolve and lead a group of people, right? And, just your ability to, get in character, or, creatively, like, immerse yourself, because you're an all-in kind of girl. It's like you put you're so kinesthetic, your body moves with the images, right? And so, I mean, it's just so cool. Like, you want to do country? Oh, well, let's flip the script. And it's just like watching you, like, immerse yourself into this world of what is country, and I can just visualize you with it all around you. And you're like, inside the matrix, in this country world. And then, here you are giving this incredible, like, feeling and place, right, to your artist, and that's how you coach. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and I just love, like, even with the babies or whatever, it's cool. I just love teaching. I love teaching. It's rewarding and challenging.
Oh yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah, says the mom of a 6-year-old beast. Challenging. that I love very much unconditionally.
Mm,
These
gotta
are the hard years with the boys, you know, like
power through.
boys are beasts at this age, you know, they're crazy, they have a ton of energy, you know, and then mine is super athletic, you know. So he's off the charts. And then he's got a personality like mine. So he's loud. You know what I mean? Like he's loud and he's crazy and he's, you know, outspoken. And so, you know, I just get to deal with learning how to balance that, like not take away his little identity, you know, not this is another way that I'm investing myself as a mother right now. So I'm reading a book called How to Listen So That Your Kids Will Talk, and How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen. Excellent book. Oh, it's excellent. And, you know, I'm about to finish the first chapter, and it's all about helping your children navigate their feelings. So right now I am learning to help him, you know, assign feelings, right, to like what he's experiencing in the moment, so that he feels understood, he feels acknowledged, he feels seen, you know. And then from there we can, you know, create direction. So yeah, so that part is actually really fun in my evolution as a parent right now, you know, just
How
really
has that how has that translated with Chase so far?
you know, it's just it translates into boundaries, which is, you know, he's learning that that's a form of love. You know, he doesn't like the way that kind of love feels all the time, but you know, we're closer as a result, you know, like our bond is closer. And you know, he feels, he acknowledges that I am with him, you know, like we're here. You know, like I'm not just talking over him, like I'm not dismissing his feelings, like I'm not teaching him to dismiss his feelings and that his feelings don't matter. You know, I'm teaching him to acknowledge them and to be with himself in that moment. Absolutely. And you know, we're also learning how to navigate those feelings. And you know, well, this is a healthy way, right, of expressing anger. You know, and these kind of ways are not okay. This is not what we do, right? So you know, long story, right? But we're getting better as a result. You know, me and Chasey are quite the unit. Loving my little dude.
Baby steps. Well, Jess, you were saying something earlier. I'm sorry.
You were
oh, okay.
No, I'm just really interested in that. Cynthia mentioned the word evolution and parenting style, because it is always an evolution, and there's always, you know, you think that you kind of have it down with your kids, and then they change and you change, and you kind of have to figure everything out again. I'm trying to figure everything out again right now because my kids are entering into their teenage years, and this is like a whole new can of worms. That I'm dealing with. And, you know, like even this last week, I really struggled with my daughter who's 13, and she's really, it seems that she's developed a lot of confidence issues that is challenging for me to watch as a parent, because I think she's the best thing that's ever happened in the history of the world, you know. And like, so to see her sit there and, you know, question herself is really, really hard for me. And I have not yet found the answer. You know, I actually reached out and I asked a bunch of different people. I was like, how did you guys deal with that? And a lot of it was setting an example. And so then I go back to myself and I'm like, okay, have I set the best example that I could have, you know? And it's all kind of, you know, it's a very reflective process of like, okay, am I handling my own stuff, you know, the best, because she's looking to me for an example. So it's like, you have to reevaluate yourself and think, okay, am I doing things the way I should be as well? And, you know, especially with her, you know, I have boys as well, but it seems so different for a girl, like to have to face these types of issues. You know, my older son, I don't know, he's wonderful and he has all this confidence is like very like innate, and he's never had these issues, but to deal with it from, you know, for a girl, I'm like, oh gosh, it seems scarier somehow.
Yeah, get this book. Definitely get this book, you know, and just starting. And I love that they just started with feelings. You know, it's a very fundamental place to begin with anything.
Yeah, and teenagers are all about their feelings, male and female, you know, and so especially in the teenage years, the hormones are so rambunctious. I had a girlfriend of mine, actually, it's not because she had like mental problems or anything, but she was able to afford a therapist. So like, I don't know, some people can or cannot, but she was able to afford a therapist for her daughter just so she could have because the therapist had the tools to be able to help her daughter navigate her emotions and how to overcome whatever she's feeling, to have someone that's not in the house, to like, you know, just a safe place for, you know, like a secret place, but with someone who's qualified, who could talk it out loud and give them the tools to process in a healthy kind of way. But if you don't have that, I think tools like what my sister was saying was in how to navigate the emotions, like for sure, you know, I mean, especially teenagers, everything is so like dark and morbid, you know, and woe is me and life sucks.
Well, and I think the way you said it the first is like, you know, therapy is a great tool even if you're healthy, and I think there's still a negative stigma around it, you know, and like, so like to broach that subject with people, and like maybe it's a good idea to go talk to a therapist, that the kind of reaction might normally be like, oh my god, that's some big deal, there's something wrong with me, or you know, something like that. And it doesn't mean that, but I think that stigma still exists for it. And you know, like we saw this last week, the USA, the girl, and I can't remember her name right now, that took her own life. And like, you looked at all of her stuff online, like she was just like bubbly, charismatic person. It was something that you would have never expected, you know, to see. And then you see these kind of like high profile cases like hers of that, and it's like there's still the stigma of like it being a negative thing. And I think that we need to move towards like just normalizing it generally.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally 100% agree with you. You know, suppressing feelings is a very dangerous thing, you know, and that's why so many of us have these like far out coping mechanisms, you know. I mean, that's what addictions are all about. You know, that's what, you know, multiple personalities are all about. That's what they call it. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, schizophrenia or whatever, well, maybe that's more of a chemical imbalance, but, you know, just things where trauma is brought on by trauma, and you have like, you know, mental, you know, illnesses, for a lack of a better word, due to trauma, because people aren't taught to heal. They're not taught to address the truth of their feelings, you know. And this might be like, you know, I don't know, but I mean, feelings are important to address because you cannot change what you don't acknowledge, right? Like if you don't acknowledge something, it's just going to continue to go on autopilot. And that is your program. That's your subconscious program that you're totally unaware of, that you're running all the time. And that is the one that is attracting the people, the experiences, you know, everything that you continue to go through unconsciously. You just keep running this thing, and it's like you just keep bringing forth, you know, all of the things that are out of that pattern, but you
Like
keep
faster.
wanting something different.
Yeah.
You know.
I was also watching a thing where he's a guy from the UK or whatever, but bottom line, he was just talking about focus and just the overabundance of information, and then just that attacks us on every single, you know, minute and everything. And just, we're conditioned to multitask. Why? Because we're trying to perform. We're trying to perform to meet a certain standard, and versus just, shutting off and just, it's okay. It doesn't need to be at somebody else's pace. It's take your time, and so a lot of like that could cause a lot of anxiety and the stress and all the things. So I guess like with mental health, oh, I gotta perform. And that's something that I've had to, like, when doing a career transition, it's like, you know what? It's gonna be at my pace and it's not gonna be in anybody else's. And it takes discipline, and actually it takes courage to say, you know what, this is where I'm at. Oh, well, oh, well. So what if they're like top producer, mega social media superstar? Oh, well, that's okay. That they don't have my life, and it's like, I've got to learn at my pace with the way of how I learn. I got to deal with my cards on my plate, and it's accepting where you're at in life, and acknowledging the realities in your life, and getting that iron in your hand and ironing all the details out the way that you can at the best of your ability. And then you just learn how to organize in a way that doesn't like drive you bonkers. It's like, it's always like reminding myself, okay, who and why am I doing this for? Am I doing it for others? Like even customers, oh, you got to hurry up because the customers are, no, my home needs to be in order. It's okay. They could wait, because guess what? They're making me wait. I need to get my house in order first, and so, and I will address it in a timely manner, but I'm not about to be your slave. You know what I mean? I'm not that goes with customers, that goes with friends and everything else. You know what I mean? It's like, I just as long as you get your mental together, and I definitely think like that is a huge trend right now. And, capitalizing on that, in the commercial world, that is a huge thing. Mental services, a lot of people, like those services that takes care of your mental needs. You know what I mean? There's an uptick on that, like dramatically.
And that's great. That's beautiful. I'm glad that the world is catching on. Because I mean, like, the societal, mechanism and the way that we've been programmed obviously is not working for the human race. So I am glad that people are starting to wake up and say, I need to choose different. Like, they're running this, they're like, and I really have been wanting this. It's like, find something that puts you in the other orbit, and it's funny because I was just sharing this with a friend the other day alongside what you were saying, sis, and just staying centered within yourself. I found that after I had meditated, I think it was 2 days ago, it was the beginning of the week, and I just noticed a shift. I had noticed, where I had been and then where I brought myself back to. And it was legitimately within me, right? When you're like, no, I am priority. I am home, right? And things like, I noticed that sometimes I get to, submerge myself energetically into other people. And it's like, I kind of lose my centeredness, because I'm just in flow, maybe not in flow. I'm just fluid with other people, right? And I lose myself. And so remaining centered, right, and aligned in purpose and in God, it's like, no, things will operate from a place of being, not from a place of doing. You know what I mean? So what I'm being then is out of alignment, out of congruency with myself in that moment. So honoring self, like you were just talking about earlier, is really important. And it's something that I actually experienced, earlier in the week, which was remain in alignment with you, respect and honor self. And then whatever comes from self is wholehearted, it's solid. You're in a solid place. Because when you start rejecting self and abandoning self to go be with, in the energy of everyone else, that's when you find yourself totally depleted. You find yourself like just energetically drained. You find yourself completely worn down, worn out. And, that's when you need to put like, the covers over your head and like, be in a dark place for a while. You know what I mean? Just to recruit back to zero again.
But I feel like people are starting, like you said, to like focus on that again more, which is great. But it's like we're as a society getting more and more busy, with things. And there's always like, your phone is right here, and, you always have emails or texts or social media notifications. And, there's all of these things that are distracting us more and more. So it's like, I think people are starting to be more self-aware and more conscious of their own alignment, like you said, and all that stuff. But it's like at the same time, the distractions are continuing to skyrocket. So it's like, both are growing, but is it really getting better? I'm not sure. And it's like, I don't know, when is it going to stop? Because it's like, I always pay a lot of attention on, how people perceive information. I did this both in museums, because you have to be aware of how people interact with space and how people will stand up in front of an exhibit. And I do it on social media, because you have to be aware of what's going to make somebody watch something, what is going to actually make them click on it, what's going to make them. So you have to always be aware of people's attention spans. And we have the shortest attention spans, and they are getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. I saw that there was a study from, I think, 2004, that it was like people could stay focused on one thing for 12 minutes. And that's not a long time if you think about it. But in 2014, it was down to 5 minutes. And so that's like 8 years old now. So what is it at now? And it's just like, the attention spans are going so much, they're getting so much smaller, but we're not really doing anything to combat that, And it's like, there's this constant, like, people pulling at you in every which way. So I can understand why people are really exhibiting a lot of mental health issues, because it's like, there isn't any time to just kind of like escape and align yourself a lot of times, unless you make a very concerted effort to do so. But that takes a lot of mental fortitude to just say, okay, I need to step away. I need to focus on that, because it can be hard.
It can be. It's a tremendous amount of discipline. And, what does, to me, if I had to define what alignment is, it's what are your pillars that you will always go to? What are your anchor points? How, basics, your health, your wealth, your spirit, your community, you know what I mean? Like, how do you, so you can help in a bigger level, right? So it's my health is very, very important. My spiritual maintenance is extremely important to me, my family, my wealth, if any of those pillars, and then just the community around me, or like the culture around me, that I have some type of influence or some kind of way to partake in. If any of those things are off or not, you know what I mean, then that's gonna affect me, and then like always coming back to one, right? I'm always looking at my anchor points, and I'm always doing a check. I have to refuel each area, it does take effort, and with the guy, I'm going to circle back with the UK guy. One of the things that he talked about was that these advertisers on social media, or just advertisement marketing, in the algorithmic, whatever it is designed to get you. They design, it's purposely designed that way so you can enter, so they contain you. You enter in so they can contain you, entertain. And so and if you're not aware of it, you could just get sucked in with people in their unicorn suits plowing through snow in the middle of Ohio. It's funny as all heck, but it's like, that was 2 minutes. Get off, Maria, get off. It was hilarious, but get off. And that requires a lot of like discipline, you know what I mean? And, you know, we have, you know, one of the things is like we schedule appointments for everything else, but why don't we schedule appointments for our phone when we're going to use our phone? You know what I mean? Like what for the usage? Oh, it's time to eat. You know, it's time to eat. It's time to use my utensils. Okay, put it up. Oh, it's time to do this. Just time to do that. We schedule all kinds of things, but we don't put a schedule on the device that is, you know, containing us.
It's easy to go down those holes, and it's like, it's really hard. I even struggle. I tell my kids, no, I try to sit down with my kids and eat dinner, you know, at home and have at least that 30 minutes of togetherness. But I even catch myself, I tell them no cell phones. I catch myself pulling out my cell phone. It's just like, it's become such a habit. I don't even notice it, that I'm doing it. And it's like a way that we kind of cope. Like, you know, if we don't feel comfortable in a situation, we'll go on our phone and pretend like we're playing or something. Or, you know, it's just like, it's such a second part of our personality now. It's like we have hard time separating it and just like,
I've been noticing a trend of like some people or like some families have been like doing phone jail, you know what I mean? Hey, or phone stations, or I've seen some of my friends that are, you know, like fun school teacher type of mom things, and they create a whole phone station where they could park their phone, and they have a little charging station, and it's all cutesy and everything. But at these times, this is when the phones go in, everybody's phones go in. So it's all about the culture that you create in your household or your classroom or whatever. And it's just like, hey, we're going to come into an agreement. We got to have more time, because like a lot of these teenagers, they're very expressive on the phone, but when it comes to like in person, they're very blank face. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to talk at all.
Yeah, I always wondered this, like, you know, they've grown up with this technology, right? Like, how are they going to be able to get up in front of a group of people and speak? They can't even sign their own names. I know I sound like old right now, but like, they literally don't know how to sign their names. You know, they print them out. How are they ever going to be able to develop a well formatted speech or conversation or anything? It's like we've lost the art of conversation. We've lost the art of, you know, just anything like that. It's like it's moving, and it's not always bad. You know, a lot of people talk about all the bad things about that come out of like social media and like the phones and stuff, and there is a lot of bad, and we have to recognize that there's also good parts. But it's just like taking the time to make sure that they understand like there are things outside of their phone or the games or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up
go ahead, sis.
We definitely grew up in an age where like our generation and our parents' generation were like, we don't know. Oh yeah, this is cool. So it's still like in a way still young in its development. But I guess like, you know, at this point it's kind of okay, what's the purpose of this device? You know what I mean? And what's its power and purposes? It's kind of like a cutting knife. Going back to the kitchen, it's a dangerous weapon. It can be a dangerous weapon when misused, right? But like the purpose is to cut up your vegetables and your meats and everything. So it's like, okay, so, you know, when you train your children with these devices, it's like, okay, mommy uses it for entrepreneurial purposes. This is how you can make money with your device. Okay, here's another, it's like a pocket knife, right? Here's another little switchblade that it comes out of. This is to communicate with family and importances, but this is not what it's used for.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, and I think like there's so many, you know, like what you and Nicole were talking about last week, Cynthia, you know, you find people on there that align with you. Like I was talking about, you know, this exhibit that I'm working on right now. I met Derek through social media, you know, several years ago, and, you know, I've gotten to know him in person, but, you know, you find people that you have similar interests with and that you click with naturally. And now we're doing something, you know, this amazing project where we're trying to give back, you know, and so it's like there are so many great uses for it. It's like you said, just taking it back, like just making sure you're using it, you know, for its proper function and not letting it, you know, inundate you with negativity, you know.
Agreed. So I want to plug someone in, and we can definitely segment this part out when we, find our little, our little minute reels or whatever. But to touch on what you had said, Maria, so Paula Hester is a really powerful woman. She used to run Alamo Title, and now I think she's already chunked up, and she's like part of the company that owns Alamo Title. But she's a phenomenal business executive. She is a great leader, and a lot of the the one woman that I personally do business with is Brandy Driscoll. We can also tag her in this. She is our escrow agent extraordinaire. Like, she's literally the one I give all my business to. Love her as a human and as a professional. And one thing that Paula has taught me is that she specifically assigns time when she will take a break and actually respond back to phone calls, text messages, emails. She's got like 2 times a day during a work day, and she literally schedules time for the emergencies that people can come in and pop into her office, right, and talk about things that are happening so that she can put fires out. She's got times during the day where she will literally get on her phone and respond back, right, to whatever has come in during that time. And I mean, she's just really spot on as a business executive and as a leader and as a business owner. She impresses me a lot. And so that was just one thing that I learned from her. Like when you said, we don't schedule time to look at our phones, or we don't schedule time. And I'm like, she does. She actually does that. I don't know what that looks like at home, but I know, like a lot of families, actually a couple of families that I've met, they have the cell phone box. Cell phone goes in box before you come and sit down at the dinner table. And actually, I really think that I should do that with me and Chase, just so that we get used to having connection time around the dinner table. Like you were saying, Jess, you have that, that 30 minutes of togetherness, and yeah, it's so important. It's so important. So I love that, and one of my other great friends, business executive consultant extraordinaire, Miss Sandy Somaslawski, Aunt Sandy out in North Carolina, they have these little games for kids, it's called Table Talk. And, it's just a great way. You pick up a card and, the kids read it and you guys answer the questions on the card. Like one of them was, we had Table Talk over Christmas, and it was, what one person would you love to meet, whether they are alive or not alive, and just getting to understand, your kids and the way that they think and what's important to them and the ways that they, answer the questions. I think I love that idea. And so
I'm sitting here taking notes, Table Talk.
Yes, Table Talk, get the cards, so that you guys can, have fun discussing things as a family.
Cute.
Yeah, because it always drives me nuts, when I sit down and I'm like, hey guys, how was your day? And I'll go around and I'll ask each kid, and it's like, good. And it's like all I get out of them, like, well, what did you do? Went to school. Like, they give me the one word answers.
Yes.
And so it's like, you really have to find creative ways to get them talking, besides, about stuff, that's like everybody can be involved in. I mean, they will talk about gaming incessantly, but they don't understand the stuff that I'm interested in. So finding that kind of like common ground would be a good idea.
Absolutely. So to kind of segue into something, and then we can definitely close this out if you guys want to, but you guys had touched on the distraction, right, and marketing, media, products, consumerism, and enterprise. We all have the whole Okay, good. Sorry, got a notification. But it's like consumerism and all of these products that, marketing is geared towards to capture your attention, that maybe you have like 0.6 seconds, right? To like capture the attention of somebody. And marketing has become the number one distraction, I believe. And what I feel is that if you're marketing and offering a service that actually brings you back in alignment with yourself in some kind of way, right? I believe that these are the best types of services to distract people from this, that catapults your orbit to what you really want in life, what you were dreaming of, what your vision is, what you ultimately want for yourself, the purpose that God, created you.
Mhm.
And so I guess that kind of segues into, what I'm excited about in 2022 is, my business partner, Nicole Ricks, shout out to Nick. We are now launching a coaching program. And, until just, early December, this was not something that was on my mind. We had a totally different program going. We had this particular plan. This was going to be our end goal. And it was literally like, right here, this was it. And then, God happened, because God is always happening, and then it was just like opened me up to like both of us, to these possibilities that we had no freaking idea. And so, I've been in real estate for 13 years. I've not done anything else. I've done this full time. I've never had a job. I've never done it part time. I've been broke. I've been, back on top, and I've been broke again, and I've been broken, in this business. I got all the scars and the, emotional baggage that comes along with it, And with all of this, I understand now, I really have a lot that I can share, that I can help people with,
Right?
Huh?
Having those experiences are what will make you a good coach, though.
Absolutely. Like these stories are what, are what help people, number one, it gives us a way of empathizing with people. Like I can relate to you. I can empathize where you're at. I know where you are right now. And you know what? This is what I did to bail myself out.
Yeah.
So there is hope. You can get from this place to this place. Because look, I did it. And this is all the crap I went through and that I was carrying on my back, right, to get here.
Right.
And so, yeah, absolutely. So it's a place of, I offer evolution. I offer transformation. I offer, acknowledgement, heart, soul, skills, right? Determination, perseverance, resilience. Never freaking give up.
Mhm.
Because no matter how much life has just been like, pow, 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 I'm like, I'll take it on the chin and I keep it freaking moving. It's like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, are you some kind of like Mexican boxer, Like they just never go down. And so I finally understand, that, what, I have a lot to offer. I have a lot to offer, women, period, people, period. My story stands for something. And then number two, especially, the skill set in real estate. I mean, when you do something for over a decade, full time, nothing else, you've done nothing but this, you have something to share. You have things that can, help people in their careers. And so bringing all of this, into my coaching program where, I get to, help people become the people that it takes to do the tactical things that I can teach you, right? So that you can go on and live the life of your dreams, through the vehicle of real estate. That's what I'm excited actually to share.
For
It's
you.
exciting.
I know, I got to this place. Yes. It's like total triumph, you know? It's like no more like baggage. Ugh, woe is me. Believing all the, you know, the old mental, you know, beliefs that come along with tragedy, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I went through that, you know, and vulnerability is so beautiful. So like, sis, when you were like, no, on my time, you know, and you know what, I'm going to honor myself. This is where I'm at. This is the pace that I'm going to go. Great. Woohoo for you. Wonderful for you. This is me, you know, and I mean, just honoring that authenticity, you know, and creating an environment in which that is nurtured. Your authentic self is nurtured and, you know, like freaking loved on. Like, you know, that's what I want to harness. So when you get distracted by my ads, just know that this is what I offer. This is what I bring, is alignment with self, you know, because once I give you the tactical things to do, you've got to become the kind of person that would actually do those tactical things. Because if not, all these tactical things are just list on a piece of paper on process that, you know, is nothing that you would even show up to do.
Yeah,
So
and
that's why my approach is very holistic.
your ads, you know, are, you know, they add value. It's not just something, you know, you're scrolling past and wasting time. It's not watching people, you know, run through snow, you know, in a silly way or whatever. It's giving people back something. It's giving people back, you know,
Themselves.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I think is like, you know, not all marketing is bad. I have to say that because I'm like the marketing person there, but you know, it's like there is value. You just have to be aware of siphoning out what is valuable and what is sucking my time.
Absolutely. There's a lot of like self-discipline that goes along with it. You know what I mean? You got to discipline yourself and put some order to it. You know, like where are the areas that has a hold of me? And then you're like, nope, let me grab the bull by the horns, and you grab the bull by the horns. Don't be taken over, like get a grip.
Right. You know, and it goes back to what you said before, which is focus. You know, I learned this from you, sis, you know, because normally I'm like, okay, I got to work on my subconscious and I got to go in and da, 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 right? But you're like, you're doing this on a conscious level. Like I am consciously, you know, pushing myself out of this orbit and into this orbit on a very conscious level, which it takes a lot more grit. You know, that takes a lot of grit to force yourself to get into a different thought process, you know, like, oh, you know, that takes a lot of strength. Number one, oh, to catch it. Well, first it takes self-awareness, then it takes strength to catch it, and then it takes courage to change it, right? And then it takes a heck of a lot more energy to like, you know, to maintain that focus and that strength and that endurance. You know, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, you
So
got to know your purpose and your why. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just going to falter.
that's some strong stuff, man. Super respectable. What makes a strong woman right there. Bam. What? Well, I think this was a very very empowering show. You know, I love the fact that even though it was snowing and everyone's iced in, that we still got an opportunity to share ourselves, to share, you know, our passion, to share projects that we have going on, to bring awareness. So Jessica, you know, you already know I'm all in. So where do you need me? You know, it's like you just let me know where and you fit me in and I'm there. And, you know, we can use our platform, you know, to bring even more awareness and to help other people, you know, find the courage to just step up and to be a part of that because they know that they'll be in a safe place. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. We need all of the help that we can get. And, you know, we need all of the awareness. And you have such a great platform for empowering other women. And, you know, this is, you know, a very specific, you know, way to empower women, what I'm working on. But I love the feeling of helping others to, you know, process whatever they've been through and, you know, take ownership of it and say, this was my experience. And I now get to tell my narrative and, you know, really move through that, you know, and help their mental health, you know. And I think there's a lot of power in taking ownership of it and controlling the narrative and, you know, putting it out there.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me on and letting me talk about it. I'm excited.
So cool having you on, Jess. It's nice to have you seen and talking.
I know, because normally you're like behind the camera producing and directing, you know, so it's nice to have our producer here with us, joining us this time.
I'm usually trying to like telegraph you guys thoughts, like, oh, ask this question or ask that question. Oh, that was a great question. Now I get to actually speak. So
Yes, I love it.
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank
Me
you
too.
so much.
Tea Time with the Day Sisters was a huge success. So thank you both. And I love y'all.
Love y'all too. Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.